Governor, so you signed an executive order on the stage today during your speech that's supposed to protect the Second Amendment rights of North Dakotans. Can you just detail a little bit about that, explain that executive order?
Well, we've recently seen in this country that banking institutions are discriminating against firearm companies or ammunition companies. So what I did was sign an executive order that would prevent the state of South Dakota from doing any business with financial institutions that would do that type of discriminatory action against our Second Amendment rights. It's incredibly important that we set and lead by example. And this executive order is one way that we can do that, to continue to stand for constitutional rights of the people in our state.
Now, where do you see the future of American Second Amendment rights, given Democrats' increased calls for more gun control measures following the shootings in Louisville and Nashville?
Well, we need to be very clear that we have laws that need to be enforced, and we all agree on that. We have statutes in place today that would go a long ways to protecting our citizens and making sure our children are safe. So that is what I think a lot of people get challenged by, is that when there gets to be a conversation like this and that type of conflict, they want to back away. Now it's more important than ever that those of us who value this country, that they value what our founders gave us as our rights, to continue to defend them and to explain why they're in place. They're in place so a normal, everyday citizen has the chance to deter a corrupt government that would come in and take away their ability to provide for their families.
Now, you've been a rumored presidential candidate. I know you're aware of that. What are the main factors as you make your decision, as you decide what ultimately you're going to do? And then what time frame do you think you might expect to make an announcement one way or the other?
Well, I would just say that I think this country is desperate for a president that will fight for important values and principles this country was built on, and someone who can communicate that message to the people, casts a vision for where we're going. I'm looking for an individual like that. I hope that people in this country are as well, because now more than ever, we're seeing federal government come in and take away our ability to even conduct business, to raise our families as we see fit, and to use our values that we were raised with. So it'll be an interesting presidential race. I'm not going to tell you any decisions today whatsoever, but I do think that it's important that we keep our eye on the ball and make sure that we have the best individual stepping forward to take on that role, because we've got some big fights ahead, and we need to make sure that we have a president who will hang in there with us.
And then very lastly, you've called the prosecution against President Trump political. How do you think his legal troubles could play into the primary and ultimately the general election, should he ultimately be the Republican nominee?
Well, it's clear this is unprecedented action. You have a prosecutor who's going forward in trying to challenge an individual that they say violated federal law under a state law that's passed its statute of limitations. So it's clearly all politics. I'm sure President Trump will go through the process and will come out recognizing that these kind of attacks can be withstood, and that he will continue to work for the people in this country.